Peace. This is Watch for Wadsworth Media, back at y'all for another round. And fight fans, man, what is going on with Gervonta Tank Davis? I mean, this guy, he's supposed to be the face of boxing, right? He's supposed to be the guy that is a top or in the top 5 of the pound for pound list, but for me, he's steadily dropping off that top 5. I have him still in the top 10, but his spot is in danger in that top 10 spot because Gervonta Davis is not giving us the quality fights and quality opposition, man. And let's call a spade, man. Gervonta Davis has been ducking major opposition for years. Remember, Floyd Mayweather and Tank Davis had their differences. Their differences started around the time where Floyd Mayweather started calling out Lomachenko. Gervonta Davis was very upset with Floyd Mayweather for pushing that Lomachenko fight on Tank. Tank has admitted that publicly. He said, oh, they trying to line me up. What? You're supposed to be this knockout sensation, protege of Floyd Mayweather, and you talking about lining you up. They're lining you up. What kind of talk is that from a guy who's supposed to be at top of the pound for pound list? So fast forward some years later, it is now confirmed. The Zone's own Eddie Hearn has said that he reached out to Gervonta Davis for a fight with Devin Haney, and Gervonta Davis flat out said no. He didn't want to talk. He didn't want to hear anything. And Eddie Hearn says that it was for big money and that Bill Haney has the numbers. And before that, Bill Haney had already said, Tank, you turned down 20 million you turned down to fight Devin Haney. You couple that with the fact that his coach Calvin Ford is like, I dare you go one whole year without saying Tank's name. You have all of these things factor in and they don't look good, man. It look like Tank is really ducking this Devin Haney fight. Meanwhile, you got guys like Shakur Stevenson, who's publicly going at Lomachenko after the Devin Haney fight. Not like on some, oh, Dev got him first. He looked good against Dev. And now he's like, oh, you know what? Nah, I don't want that. Right after the Devin Haney fight, he hit up Lomachenko, and Lomachenko said, oh, no, I can't because I got unfinished business with Devin Haney. Devin Haney ends up moving up in weight. Shakur reaches back out, and Lomachenko goes silent. He's tried to reach out for fights with Pitbull Cruz. You know, he's had his words back and forth with Devin Haney. Shakur Stevenson is trying to push for these big fights. Tiimo Lopez sent out an offer sheet to Team Mateus to make a super clash against Subriel Mateus at 140. Tiimo Lopez is doing his part to make a big fight happen. You don't even have to mention Devin Haney. He went from 135, fought a man who can arguably be the best at 135 in Lomachenko, and moved up and fought the best at 140. And that's Regis Prograis, or the man that was the best for a while. So you don't even have to mention Devin Haney. Even Ryan Garcia is pushing for these big fights. Ryan Garcia has reached out to Rolly Romero, and Romero, you know, in joking manner as usual, he dismissed that fight. But at least Ryan is actually trying to make that fight happen. Even more impressive than that, Ryan Garcia just released on Twitter that he sent an offer sheet to Devin Haney in his camp. And Devin Haney replied and said all facts. That is true. That Ryan Garcia is trying to make this fight with Devin Haney happen. So you got to give your credit, all hats off to Ryan Garcia for trying to make this Devin Haney fight or trying to make the Rolly Romero fight. He already took on one guy that, you know, it's like a stay busy fight, but now he wants to get back in the ring with another shark. You gotta give Ryan his credit for that. Gotta applaud him for that. And it seems like Tank Davis, out of all of these that young crop, Shakur, Dev, Tio, Ryan, and Tank Davis, out of all of them, the only one that's not trying to make big fights happen is Tank Davis. Tank's team already said his next fight is going to be a tune-up. How are you in your prime taking tune-up fights when you have all of these great fights in front of you? You have 4 belts available. Now that Devin Haney moved up in weight and he left behind the 4 major belts, all 4 belts are vacant at the 135-pound division. He can take on anybody and become lightweight champion. In fact, he's the WBO regular champion, so he can elevate, or in a strange twist of irony, just how life is, right? They might elevate him to the super champion, and next thing you know, he's the email champ. The guy who started that trend, email champion, he might become email champion at this rate because it looks like he's not trying to fight anybody. And the reason why I gotta go after him is because it wouldn't be right. I get after Canelo. I've gone after Triple G, Tyson Fury, all of these guys for being fake elite, for being guys that false media promotes because they're marketable, but not because of their skill set. When you got people that are brilliant level boxing talent that need to be brought to the forefront, and they're not doing it because they rather give Canelo Alvarez, Tyson Fury, or Tank Davis more shine and recognition than a Terrence Crawford, more recognition than a Devin Haney. But it's time for Tank Davis to step up, man. It's time for him to give us the fights that we want to see. He was so adamant about getting that Ryan Garcia fight because he was confident he could beat Ryan. He knew Ryan had holes in his game. He told Ryan during the press, you know, all the media buildup, he told him, yo, you leave your hands down. That's why he knew he was going to beat him, because he knows he leaves his hands down. So it's time for him to step up, man. There's plenty of big fights to be made at 135. You got a Lomachenko class you can make for one of the belts. You got a Shakur Stevenson fight that you can make for one of the belts. But instead, he want to go to Pitbull, the route that he already went. Come on, man. That's why he's got to get demoted from them pound-for-pound lists until he shows and proves. Because he has the potential. The potential's there. It's just the belief is not there. As much as he's been successful and as much as he's been celebrated in the sport, but he doesn't believe in himself. Not the way that Devin Haney believes in himself, not the way that Shakur Stevenson believes in himself, not the way that a Terrence Crawford believes in himself. He don't believe in himself in that level. And that's why he is not true elite. He's fake elite. He's fake elite, man. It's got to be said. So take on one of these top tier talents, man. Floyd Mayweather, they talking about his next fight is going to be a tune-up. A tune-up in his prime. With all these great fights available, he going to take a tune-up. Floyd Mayweather, you want to hear greatness? This is why Floyd is top 5 dead or alive. Floyd Mayweather after retiring, after the Ricky Hatton fight. He retired for almost 2 years. Almost 2 full years he retired. And when he came back, who he fought? The guy who was number 2 pound for pound in the world, which was Juan Manuel Marquez. After 2 years away from the sport, he came back and took on a dangerous opponent. Juan Manuel Marquez was one of the greatest Mexican boxers who's ever lived, one of my favorite fighters of all time. He came back and one-sidedly beat him. So yeah, man, it's time for Tank to step up. If not, we gotta stop supporting these pay-per-views, and we gotta demote him from the pound for pound list. And he's not gonna be the face of boxing for long. I'm Waz for Waz Words Media. Peace.